Howdy y'all, and welcome back to I Am a Champion, my series where I talk about all things I love about the Olympics and Paralympics. Historically, whenever the Paralympics or the Olympics roll around, churches love to talk about the scriptures in the New Testament that are all about running a race and how we can compete and finish the race well. And that's all well and good, and I love that. But something that really struck me this season was actually in something different. You see, I don't know how the training and the competing was exactly done during the Roman and Greek times, but I do know how athletes typically train in these days for the Olympics and the Paralympics. And one thing about athletes in either venue is that even if there's only one athlete competing, they have a team around them. You'll never see a country just represented by one person walking in any kind of opening ceremony or closing ceremony just alone. And if you do, it's probably some representative that's not even the athlete, because the athlete is probably needing to rest up for their competition that's coming up. What's interesting is when they do the opening ceremonies and the Walk of Nations, you'll hear them say there's 4 athletes for this country or 2 athletes for this country, and you'll see this delegation of like anywhere from 7 to 30 people. And it can be a little confusing because they just said there's only like 3, 4, 6 athletes for that country. And the reason for that is that for every athlete, they have a whole team behind them. They have sometimes trainers and coaches and medical staff and sometimes guides if we're talking about the Paralympics and they're blind athletes. You have a whole staff behind you. And I'm not talking about paid staff necessarily either. Now, I don't exactly understand how the paid version works versus not, so I'm not trying to get into that. What I mean is the country is very careful to make sure that every competitor, every athlete has a team behind them. They're not running this race alone. They are not swimming this race alone. They are not competing and getting all the baskets or whatever the sport is, they're not doing it alone. Even if it's a team sport, it's not just the coach and the athletes. It's a whole team behind them. And why is this important to me? Well, because when we only talk about our race that we are running, I think we're doing a disservice a little bit to the whole context of Scripture, because we're supposed to rely on God according to Scripture, and He wants to help us through things, and He wants us to have a community, and He wants us to be part of that community. And I see that so much when I'm watching the Olympics when it's done well, and when I'm watching the Paralympics. I see this community that we don't see every day, and I see this community that I wish that we could rally behind one another in day-to-day life. And it's so awesome to see some of these people really come to the prime of their athletic abilities in this time with these people. But I don't think it has to end there with just sports analogies either, because in our daily life, is there somebody that we can lift up to help them run their race well? And I don't mean athletically. Is there someone we know that's struggling right now that we can help be their medical staff, spiritually speaking or emotionally speaking? I wish that we would talk more about that, because I think that's really cool, and I can't tell you how many people probably watching this video right now, so thank you to anybody who fits that description at this moment, who have been my team, who have helped me get this far in my race. And I thank you for that. Both my emotional race and my spiritual race that is such a struggle sometimes, and I feel like I'm losing it many days. And there's so many people along my life that have been that cheering staff, that have been that backup person that's, putting a Band-Aid on me. I don't know. But I think it's so cool to have this kind of opportunity to talk about this part of our lives, that things aren't meant to be just completely singular. We're not running this race alone. Thanks for hearing me out. God bless. Thanks for watching me so far. Hopefully there's one more video in it about the Paralympics. Yeah, ciao for now. If you leave a comment, just keep it in love. I'd love to hear from you though. God bless.